Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about saving money. I'm going to be telling you the strategy that I like to use in order to save for different categories that come up throughout the year but aren't really included within my monthly budget. So these are categories that I save for a little bit throughout the entire year, and I'm going to share with you how I do that. So first, let me tell you a little bit about my strategy. So I like to save for specific categories throughout the year. I am not saving for every single thing every single time I save money because I just wouldn't have enough money to save for all of the categories. So I usually will save in 90-day increments. So we are going to be setting up my savings for January through March. And the reason I like to do this is because for the most part, I'm not going to have enough money to start saving for Christmas in the month of January. So I will break down my categories by the quarter, so then that way I know that I am saving for the specific categories that fall within these months. So let's talk a little bit about the categories. So I have 8 categories that I like to save for throughout the year: birthdays, anniversary, travel, special events like weddings and baby showers, holidays, home maintenance, car maintenance, and self-care. So every single time I am doing this process, I'm going to think about all 8 of these categories and if any one of these things are going to come up between these months. So I know I don't have something for every single one of these categories, but I know a few of them we do have something from January through March. So now I'm going to write down what categories I will need during these months. So my daughter's birthday is January 31st, so I'm going to add that to this list. Also, I need to save money for some home maintenance. I usually do get the house professionally cleaned every single quarter, so we're going to add that around March. There are small repairs that I need to get done to the car, along with getting a new key battery, and I also need to do some self-care. So all of these things are scheduled to happen between January and March of 2025. The next thing that I need to do is estimate how much I believe I will need for each one of these things. So I'm going to estimate everything on this list is about $1,300. And the way that I get to this number is basically looking at history. I looked at how much we spent on my daughter's birthday last year. I also looked at the last time we got some professional cleaning and the last time we did small repairs to the car. So I looked at the history of all of these costs, and I also added a little bit more just for inflation and a slight rise in prices. So now that I know that the estimate will be about $1,300, I'm going to divide this by 3 because I know I will need money for all of these expenses within the 3 months. The $1,300 divided by 3 is $434. Then I'm going to take that $434 and divide it by 4 weeks to get to $109 per week. So what does this tell me? This means that I would need to save $109 every single week, every single time I get paid, in order to have enough for all of these expenses. So every single time I get paid, I will take out $110 in cash and stuff it in my cash envelope. Now, if you're doing the math, then you may realize that I might not have exactly enough by the time I get to my first due date. But that is okay for me because the way that I look at this is I try and get as close as I possibly can to the amount that I would need. The first amount I will need is $500 at the end of January. However, if I save $110 over the next 4 weeks beginning in January, then I probably will have closer to about $440 and not the $500. But that's okay because I will just take the rest from my actual monthly budget. Even if I don't have the exact amount that I need, having to come up with $160 in order to meet my goal instead of $500 is much easier. So that's how I look at this process. I may not get exactly the amount that I need, but I can add a line item in my budget for the balance instead of the entire amount. So I will have about $440 once we get to the 31st of January, but then I have the entire month of February before I need any money for the month of March for my home maintenance. And so that's why I will just average it out and just save $100 every single time I get paid in order to have money set aside for these expenses. And then at the end of March, I will do this exact process again for April, May, and June. I will set aside how much we need for our anniversary, and we usually do some type of travel around that time, so I will usually use the category of travel. But every single set of 90 days, I will look at the expenses that I will need for those 90 days. And like I said, I usually don't hit my exact marker. Like for instance, even for Christmas, I was trying to hit $1,000. I was trying to save $1,000 in order to get prepared for Christmas. However, I only saved $895, but it was much easier for me to come up with a balance of like $100 within my budget than it would have been for me to try and add to my budget the entire amount I needed for Christmas. So I don't want you to focus in on how much money you don't have or how you can't do this process, because it's not going to be enough. Just save what you can. Start with what you have and save what you can. I know for us, on average of $100 a week, I can pretty much handle that. And sometimes I don't hit the marker. Sometimes I'm only able to do $75 or $50 a week. But on average, I can do around $100. And then that way we are able to set aside money for all of these additional things that may come up throughout the year. But I wanted to share this process with you because I thought it might be helpful. Think of the categories of all of the different things you might need to save for throughout 2025. And these are not things that are normally within our budget. These are things that kind of come up throughout the year. And as you think of those things, think of how much you might need and how you can divide it up and try and save a little bit throughout your year. So guys, I hope that this one was helpful, and I will see you all in tomorrow's video. Until then, keep organizing your life so that you can achieve your dreams. Bye guys.